A Soviet T-34 forward detachment has identified a critical objective for further operations in the area. Standing between them is a German Panzer IV company looking to hold the area. The mission is counterattack, and it's coming up next as MGM presents Flames of War.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Miniature Game Montage. Today we've got Flames of War. This will be a little different from my normal battle report as I am filming this at my local gaming store. I'll be playing the Germans today while my friend Red Tony will be manning up the Soviets. He did bring a T-34 forward detachment. We are playing at 80 points today as we gear up for our Toys for Tots tournament coming up in a few weeks. And the Soviets are going to be running that T-34 forward detachment. He does have a T-34-85 Hero HQ along with 4 additional tanks and then a platoon of 3. He's going to have those ZSUs, the anti-air guns. He'll have 3 of those along with 3 82mm mortars. He will have some infantry on the board with a Panzerfaust. In support, he has the armored car acting as a spotter, along with a Panther decoy scout, a Tiger decoy scout, and a T-70 light tank platoon. For the Germans, I have brought in my Panzer IV tank company that is going to be led with the HQ, the 2 Panzers, along with a group of 4, a group of 3, and then a group of 4 Stugs that make up the formation. They'll also have a group of infantry on the ground as well. The mission is counterattack, and I will be setting up an objective in my deployment area, and then Red Tony will be setting up one adjacent to that across the board. His mission is going to be to get across the board and occupy one of these objectives by turn 6. If he cannot do that, then I will be victorious. This is an attacker-defender type of scenario. As the defender in this mission, I will have immediate reserves as well as an ambush. My reserves will come in across the board, so they'll have to make their way to the objectives to try to prevent the Soviets from scoring. With forces deployed, the Germans have withheld their Stugs in ambush and have deployed the Panzer IVs forward. We are getting ready for turn 1. And as we gear up for turn 1, the decoy tanks did pass cross-checks to get into the woods here, and the Germans have made what I consider to be a fatal mistake in deploying those Panzers so close. Did not realize that they would be counter-deployed 8 inches away. Red Tony starts by moving the T-70s forward. He then passes 2 cross-checks, bringing his AAs out of the woods. And those T-34s are going to be in a prime position to move forward and get a few side shots on these Panzer tanks. This was a big learning experience for me. I deployed them close, hoping to get some shots through the tree line, and that allowed Tony to wrap around and get my side. 3 of the T-34s are going to get shots. He did not declare which one would be getting a side armor here, so we're just going to say that it was the one in the front. That was what he decided to do. He does hit once, needing a 4. One firing through cover is going to miss. With my save failed, he does roll a 3-up firepower and destroys one of the Panzer IVs. Over on the other side of this platoon, we have 2 other T-34s that are getting side shots here. He does declare these, and they will need 4s in order to hit. He once again lands 1 hit into my side armor, and there will be 2 other shots coming from the front. He is going to land 1 additional hit. I do get an armor save on 1 coming from the front. It is not going to be any good though, so 3-up firepowers are taken and 2 more of the Panzer IVs are destroyed. Almost the entire platoon goes up in smoke, and I'm left wondering what kind of mistake I've made and how I'm going to get myself out of it as the Soviet turn comes to a close. German starting step, a last stand test is taken and passed. They then roll for reserves, none coming in this turn. The Stugs are forced to pop their ambush. With no movement in the turn, we go straight to shooting. The Stugs unload 8 shots into the T-34s. They did deploy in cover. They do have them short range, so just needing 3s to hit. And an absolute hail of shots coming in, peppering the T-34s with 7 hits. For a few of these tanks, they did have their turrets turned, so we will need to roll to see if it hits the hull or the turret. The one on the Soviets' far left, both of those will be to the turret, and one inside will be the hull and the turret. With the Soviets failing on their armor saves, the firepower is going to be good, just needs one. One of the T-34s goes up in smoke. The Soviets then roll for the turret, needing to see a 6. It is going to go through. They then roll for the hull, needing a 5, and that is going to tie, so chance to blow, chance to bail. Firepower results in a double bail, so the Soviets will need to take a check here to see if that tank sticks around, and it will. We continue down the line where another tank was struck twice, and this one going both to the hull. Both saves are going to fail, and that is another blown T-34. The final result does go to firepower, but it is just going to result in a bailed out tank. So the German counterpunch coming swift from those Stugs. We do see one other shot coming from the platoon commander of those Panzer IVs going into the HQ unit. He's going to get 2 shots and lands 2 hits. The Soviet commander is in the open here. The armor saves are going to be taken, and we are going to see a firepower rolled out, and just needing a 3+ to try to take this tank down. That is successful. The commander then rolls to go hop into a nearby tank. Lastly, the Stugs will attempt to shoot and scoot, which ultimately will fail as turn 1 comes to a close. The Soviets doing a great job recognizing a mishap in the German deployment and capitalizing on it. As we move to turn 2, the Soviet starting step, we do see one of the T-34s fail to get back in. The second is going to get back in, however, they have 1 active tank. That will force a morale check on that platoon, and while they do fail, they do get a reroll, and it will be successful. In the movement step, the Soviets will send their T-70 tanks, continuing to barrel down the board, moving towards the Soviet objective. We move back to the deployment area where the anti-air gun is going to pass a cross-check, so he will loosen up out of the debris and move with his platoon, heading towards where the German reserves would come in. Soviet infantry and the Commissar passes a follow me order as they move across the board, heading toward that lone Panzer IV. T-34s in the debris field are going to relocate along with the company commander. Another T-34, that lone operating tank, is going to back out of trouble. And we've got shots coming in to that lone Panzer IV tank that is left. He is concealed, so a shot needing 5s, that is going to miss. We then have some other shots coming into the side. 2 of the T-34s fire. He is going to land a hit, and due to this being into my side armor, I can't stop it. So we are going to go to firepower, and he is just going to miss, bailing that Panzer IV out. The leader of this platoon is hoping he can weather one more shot. He does have another T-34 that is firing down the road. It is going to get 1 shot, and he is going to get a hit on a 6. Once again, going into the side, it is a double bail, so I'm going to roll to see if he sticks around, and he does. So the German's getting quite lucky there as we swing to the bottom of 2. We're going to have to see if he can bail back in, and he needs a 3+ with protected ammo. That is going to fail. The last stand is also going to fail. Double 1s. He blows his tank and runs from the board. Reserves now coming in, and they will get 1 as some additional Panzer IVs take the field. As 1 moves into the woods, he does attempt to cross-check, which is successful. They're going to line up shots at those T-70s. Before we get there, however, the Stugs are going to successfully blitz on a 3+, and they are going to arrange themselves to where they can get some shots on the Soviets, the commander moving to keep them all in command. The successful blitz and the tactical move allows them to move up to 14 inches as they jostle themselves around to maximize their shots. As we move to the shooting step, the shots are declared, one of them firing down at the bailed out T-34. He did not move, so it will be 2 shots, and he is short range. He hits with both. Does it hit the hull or the turret? We are going to roll up for that, and it looks like 1 each. The armor saves will be taken. That is going to be a fail, and another fail. 2 firepowers here, and that tank is blown. Another Stug has lined up a shot, this time at the HQ, and he is going to fire across the board. It is short range, but he misses. The platoon commander of these Stugs is going to fire through concealment at another Soviet tank, and he is going to land a hit. It is into the front armor. The armor save is going to tie, and the firepower will bail out that tank. Another Stug has positioned himself along the road, getting a side shot into one of the T-34s. It is firing through concealment. It is short range. The shot, however, is going to miss. Newly arrived Panzer IVs from reserves will get 1 shot each at the T-70s. They successfully get 1 hit. It is at long range. The firepower, however, is no good. Turn 2 concludes, the Germans scrambling a bit. The Decoy, Tiger, and Panther tanks have them hemmed down in their reserves, and we move to turn 3 for the Soviets. The last of that 1 T-34 tank platoon failed to bail back in, so he does take a last stand, needing a 4. He fails, and he is going to flee from the battlefield. The T-70 that was just bailed out by one of the Panzer IVs will attempt to get back in as well, and that is going to fail. He stays bailed out. In the movement step, the ZSUs are going to pull back behind the tree line. We've then got the T-70 tanks that barrel forwards to the Soviet objective, but they cannot win this game until they weather it until turn 6. Soviet infantry push forward to the tree line, and then his remaining T-34s, 2 in this platoon and his company commander, they are going to jostle around to look at these oncoming Panzer IVs. Soviet artillery is going to go ahead and range in where the German infantry would have to cross to get to the objective, even though they have yet to come on the board. There is no terrain, and he ranges in on the first attempt. With no shooting for the Soviets in turn 3, we go over to the Germans, where they roll for reserves. They do get 1 in automatically. Company command makes their way on the board in their 2 panzers. The Stugs do successfully pass a blitz check, giving them a 14-inch move. They start to pincer around towards the Soviet objective, looking to get some shots at the T-70s. Back to the German reserves that came onto the board, the HQ panzers, they are going to move at tactical speed, trying to line up shots at the oncoming T-34s. The remaining Panzer IV unit is between a rock and a hard place here, as they do have 2 Panthers and a Tiger watching their every move. They successfully pass cross-checks as they move into the woods, taking advantage of cover, bringing their 7.5cm guns to bear against them. In the shooting step, 2 of the Stugs open up with their cannons into the T-70s. They will land 1 hit through cover and range, and that goes to a firepower test. One of them will be destroyed. The HQ Panzer IV team is going to fire. He is short range, looking at the Soviet commander, exchanging shots. That shot is going to miss. The other tank fires as well, hoping to get a hit, and he does. The shot goes into the group of 2. He does get +1 to his armor, as he is long range. Now, while that is going to fail, we go to a 3-up firepower, which also fails. The tank is just bailed out. From the woods, the other Panzer IV unit really hoping to get lucky here and act as some kind of distraction, as this group of 3 big armor cats can't run loose on this board. They are going to fire. They are going to land 2 hits. German player here really hoping to get lucky and see a 1 here, but the shots are going to be bounced, and they're going to have to deal with shots coming back at them in the next turn. With turn 3 in the books, we look to turn 4, going back to the Soviets. And in the Soviet starting step, they will need to remount one of these T-34s. The company commander is close by, so while he does fail on the first one, company commander is yelling at him, and he is going to pass, get back into his tank. The T-70, however, is not going to have the same success and will fail. The Soviets begin by moving their infantry, getting some of them into the building, getting bulletproof cover, and this is going to make them even harder for the Germans to dig out. There was a follow me that was attempted but was failed. The T-70s are going to tuck away, still trying to occupy the objective, but making it a little more difficult for the German armor to get shots at them. The T-34 tanks are going to adjust as they see the Panzer IVs oncoming, and the Panthers and the Tiger are going to stay put for maximum shots. In the shooting step, that's what we've got coming into the Panzer IVs, and if any of these hit, it is going to spell disaster for these Panzer IVs. The two Panthers are going to land 2 hits. With a massive anti-tank rating, even at long range, the armor just can't really do anything against it, going to firepower, and 2 of the Panzer IVs are destroyed. The T-34s then take shots at the company commander as they try to work towards those T-70s, but just have to weather a storm of gunfire coming at them. We're going to see 1 hit onto the commander. While the armor save fails, a 3-up firepower also fails, and that is just going to bail him out. The remaining 2 T-34s also fire at their halted rate of fire, and it looks like they are going to land 2 hits, needing 4s. One of those shots is going to go through, however, and a 3-up firepower will result in a destroyed Panzer IV. As we go to the bottom of 4, the Germans really on the back foot in this game, and it has been so since turn 1. The company commander is going to attempt to bail back in. He does fail. He remains bailed out. We move over to the Panzer IV unit in the trees, and he is going to fail his last stand. He scoots off the board. The infantry now come on as they get an automatic reserve on. They are going to attempt to blitz and fail. The unit of Stugs will be forced to move out of command here as they try to defend both objectives, 2 of them trying to chase down those T-70s. They do attempt a blitz and fail, will move at tactical speed, and still get some shots onto those T-70s. The other 2 are going to move towards the other objective, looking to defend it from the Soviet infantry that's approaching. With 2 shots coming from the Stugs, they did fail a blitz, so it'll put them at a +1 to hit. They're also at cover. They are going to land 1 hit. That will go straight to firepower, though. It's not successful, but it will be a bail. We also have 1 more Stug firing. He is going to be out of command, however. That's a +1 to hit. Doesn't matter, though, as that shot is going to miss. The turn wraps, and we now move into turn 5. We go back to the Soviets, and they're going to attempt to bail back in these T-70s. They do successfully bail into 1, which leaves that platoon in good spirits. The one that has been bailed out for the majority of the game, however, is going to fail. He remains bailed out. The decoy squad is going to take some cross-checks as they are going to move out of the woods, the game really hinging on destroying 1 of the remaining Panzer IVs. The Tiger and the Panther are going to move forward. One of the Panthers did get bogged down back there in the dirt. The anti-air is then going to move around as well. Everybody looking to put shots into this last Panzer IV, as if he is destroyed, the formation will break. T-34s rearrange themselves, and Soviet infantry continue to push forward towards the German objective. A follow me is issued from the Commissar, which is going to be passed, giving them some extra movement as they close the gap on these Stugs. T-70s inch over slightly just to continue to make it more difficult for those oncoming Stugs while occupying the objective. We will see some firepower coming from the tree line, going into that last operating Panzer IV. The shot is going to miss. Company commander is going to take shots as well. He remained stationary, so getting his halted rate of fire, it is long range, so I believe taking him to a 5. He does land one hit. Armor save is going to be taken and failed. A 3-up firepower is going to be successful, and that is going to bring the Soviets a victory as the German formation is going to break. With the formation officially in bad spirits, the Soviets do not need to take any further actions, as the Germans are going to signal a retreat. The Soviets will take a victory today. And that brings our game of Flames of War to an end. Hopefully you can learn from some of my mistakes on that deployment. I did give away one of my Panzer platoons, just not realizing how close Anthony could deploy. But he realized it, he took advantage of it, and I really enjoy playing with Anthony. He is always a good sport, and the game was a ton of fun to play. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to let us know down in the comments. You can certainly help us by leaving a thumbs up. You can check us out here on Instagram, Facebook, or on our new website, miniaturegamemontage.com. Supporters Club, your names are on the screen now. Thank you so much for your support. It's by no means necessary. If you've watched the video this far, you've done more than enough to support the channel, so thanks so much. We will see you in the next one. Take care.